If you know how to make a granny square and you just want to amp it up, how about making these? Hey there, and welcome to the Totally FILET Crochet channel. My name is Thomas, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make my fabulous granny square doilies. I had so much fun making and designing them for Halloween, so I thought, 'tis the season, let's make a festive version of it, so the granny gets festive basically. I am beyond obsessed with these doilies. They are super fun to make. It's a giant granny square with 20 rounds and a special pattern that is super easy to get and super easy to make with the technique called FILET CROCHET. So if you haven't tried that yet, make sure to give it a try. It's just a blast to do it. But that's not all. In addition to this beautiful festive design with 4 Christmas stars, you will also get a second design with a giant Christmas star to make as a granny square doily. You can choose whatever color you like. This one here is in silver. Just make it depending on your Christmas decors this year. Like the last time, you will also find a written description of each of the patterns, including a visual how the final granny square doily will look like. And there are also some small written instructions just in case you need them, but I'm going to show everything in the video, of course. And in there you will also get the zoomed version, so you can easily follow the different rounds and have so much fun with it. So are you ready for a super fun granny square Christmas project? I am, so let's go. Ho ho ho! So let's dive right into it. The most important thing that you need for this project is, of course, the pattern. Again, I created a multi-page PDF that always has the pattern, 1/4 of it, and this time there's also like how the full visual of the granny will look like. This is basically this, and there's some small explanations and descriptions how to crochet this Christmas crochet granny square doily. And on the second page you will find the bigger version of the quarter with the pattern. So you can, if you want to print it out, print out this page here, because then you have the full visual. Again, you will always see where to place a double crochet and where to make a chain and to skip a stitch from the previous round, so you can easily follow along for each round. The rounds are numbered. For this tutorial we are going to have 20 rounds. So in the end, the dimensions of the granny square doily is around 1/2 meter, 50 centimeters, which is about 20 inches. So if you have a table where this doily would fit perfectly, then you know what to do. You just have to follow this tutorial or the pattern and make yourself one. And there's also a second pattern in the PDF, which is this one here. And this is how it will look like. And this is also the version that I'm going to make in this tutorial. I will start with it, maybe the first 4 or 5 rounds together with you, and then finish it off, and then I will show you how to make the border around the doily. And here's the pattern. This pattern here I also created because for the Halloween project there was a request to make it as a triangle bandana, and this one here, the version 2, will work perfectly as a triangle bandana. So if you want to know how to go from the granny square to a triangle bandana, it's the same way like I did it for the Halloween one, that I'm also going to link up here just in case you need it. So I will keep this here. Besides that, of course, you also need the yarn. I'm going to use this rainbow cotton yarn 8/6 quality in this super pretty Christmas red color. It's from Hobby. You know I love Hobby, and they say we need a 3 to 3.5 millimeter hook, and I'm going to use a 3.5 millimeter hook, which you probably can't see because, so now you can see it, 3.5 millimeters. Then of course for the yarn ends, a yarn needle, and of course some scissors, and that's basically all. For the entire project, I think I need, for the silver one here, I needed 2.5 skeins of those. So this is, just in case you want to know, it's 105 meters and 150 yards. So it's about 250 meters in total. So make sure that you have enough of your yarn so you don't run out. And we are good to go. And round one is always super, super easy because round one is really like a regular granny square. And we start with a magic ring. I'm doing it like I always do it. I do as if I would do a slip knot, and then pull the end yarn through the ring in the center, pull the slip knot tight, and here we go. The magic ring is done, and our first cluster always starts, of course, with a fake double crochet. So you go in the magic ring, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook to basically make a single crochet. Then go back into that front bar, yarn over, pull it through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2. I'm going to put this somewhere here so you can better see what I'm doing. Then we follow this by 2 more double crochets. So you go in, grab the yarn, pull it through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and one more time to make our first cluster. And the beginning of all of the granny square doilies are all the same, really like a regular granny square, except for the corners. Usually we would make a chain 2 for the corner. For the doily we make a chain 3 in the corner, because later on we are going to create pixels on top of pixels, basically. And then we make 3 more sets of double crochets, of 3 double crochets. Here we go, 4 clusters, and now we can close the magic ring by pulling on that end yarn. I'm not closing it too tightly, but like it is closed, I'm going to cut it in the end. And for our last corner, and this is the same for all of the upcoming rounds, we chain 1 and then we make a half double crochet in the top of our fake double crochet. So you yarn over, you go in the top of that fake double crochet, yarn over again, pull it through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 of the loops, so that we always have the beginning of the next round in the corner. And speaking of the next round, let's see. The next round is basically a full square on top of the previous one and 2 empty squares around it. When we start a round with an empty square, we always chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the first 3 stand for a double crochet, this one here, or when you're right-handed, this one here. And the 4th chain element is then already the chain 1 in between our pixels. So we have that. And then we yarn over and we go into the first double crochet in the top and make our next double crochet in. And this is a full square, so we yarn over and make the next double crochet right on top of the next double crochet from the first round. And if you want to, it's completely optional. You can try to go not only through the top loops, but also through the 3rd loop, which is a bit more downwards right here. Hope you can see it. And if you then place your hook right there and push it, you usually get the 3rd loop as well. What it does is that it makes the connection of the double crochets a bit tighter. Sorry, my voice is super crazy this evening. But I hope you can understand me. It makes the stitch a bit tighter, and it will also align the double crochets on top of each other a bit better. So this is really optional. You can just go through the top 2 stitches, through the top 2 loops. I usually try to go through the 3rd one as well. And here's the 3rd double crochet on top. And like that, we made a full square over the first round. Then we have an empty square, so we chain 1, and then we make the next double crochet in the middle chain element from our corner and try to go underneath both of the loops. If you don't get them at once, you can always pull through the one in front and then take your fingernail or your finger and pull it over the hook. So you have them. And we make a double crochet in there. Then we reach the next corner. So again, we chain 3. And then the next double crochet, which is then again the first one in our round, because we always repeat the same round 4 times. And for that, we are going back into the same stitch where we were and place our first double crochet so that we create the full squares and the empty squares. The next one is an empty square, so chain 1, and then we go in the next double crochet. A full square is ahead, so we make 1 double crochet on top of each of the double crochets from the first round. And then again, chain 1, and we are at the next corner, and we yarn over and place the next double crochet in the middle of our corner in the second chain element, like this. Then we chain 3 again, yarn over and go back into the same stitch. Those can be a bit tight, but just push it through. Chain 1 and the same thing again. We make 3 double crochets over the previous cluster. Then again chain 1, and here we go, the next corner. Chain 3. And then again, the final corner is always chain 1 and then a half double crochet, and in this case we make it in the third stitch from our chain here. So we go in there and make the half double crochet in there to create like the border. This is how it looks like. This was round number 2. I'm going to go right until we reach round 4, because then I can show you how to start a round with a full square, which is not very different to the rounds before, but just so you see that. And after that you just continue along the pattern. But now let's start with round 3. Round 3 starts with an empty square, so we chain 4 and then yarn over and go into the next double crochet, and then we have here a full one, so we yarn over and then we go in the chain element that we did in between. Again, we are trying to get under both of the loops, push them over, or make it like I do it, lose the whole stitch, but that's okay. I'm just doing it again. Sometimes these stitches can be really tight, but as always with crochet, with a little bit of patience, you will get it. Here we go. And the last one goes in there. So we have our next set of 3. Then there's an empty square, so chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and go in the next one. Then we have another full one. So again, interestingly, the later in the project, the easier you get those in between chain stitches. The beginning is just a bit fiddly, but that's all right. And then chain 1, and we're at the corner. One double crochet, chain 3, and the next double crochet in the same stitch, like that. And here we are at the end of round 3. Again, chain 1, and then we make a half double crochet in the third chain element, like this. Half double crochet, not double crochet. So now we can start with round number 4, which starts with a full square, and this goes as follows. Instead of chain 4, you chain 3, and then you yarn over, and then usually I just pick those 2 yarn strands that I see here in the front, and in there I make the first double crochet in, and then the last one is always the next, which is a tight one, again. Here we go. And like that, we have a full square in the beginning. Then we have 2 empty squares. So chain 1 and skip 1 and make the next double crochet. Then again, chain 1, skip 1. And then we have a full square. So in this round, the first pixel and the last pixel and the center pixel are full ones. All the other ones are empty. This is how I usually memorize this pattern, and then I just adapt it to the other parts. So 2 square, now we need a full one. And here we have our chain 3 from the corner. So we yarn over, we go into our first chain element and place our first double crochet in there. Then we yarn over and go to the middle chain element and place the third one. So we have a full square here. Then we chain 3 again for our corner and then yarn over and go back into the same stitch. And then yarn over and go into the last chain element. And this is exactly the reason why we have a chain 3 in the corners, so that if we would need to make a full pixel on both sides of the corner, we then have the stitches to do so. And then again, an empty square and another empty one. And we are already at the center, so we make a full one. And here I am in my last corner. So double crochet in the first chain element and the last double crochet in the base of our first one, which was our chain, and then we chain 1 again and make the half double crochet in the top of our chain 3. And just like that, I hope you can see it, we have already 4 rounds. It looks perfectly squarish. Here we are. And I think now you are ready to continue along the pattern, and I will meet you once I'm finished with round number 20. If you might think this goes super fast, it does go fast, but the higher the number of the round gets, trust me, the rounds will be much, much longer. But of course, it totally pays off when you get like such a super pretty granny square doily. See you after round 20. Bye. So here we are. I just finished round number 20. Here's how it looks. I'm always so fascinated by how gorgeous these granny square doilies look. And now we can finish it off with a little border around it. So this is where we are now, the end of round 20. And now we are going in the first stitch, our side stitch here, and we yarn over and just make a slip stitch first. And then what we are going to do is that on every second stitch we are going to place a double crochet, and in the stitches in between we are going to make slip stitches. So we chain one first after the slip stitch, then we yarn over, then we go in the top of our next stitch and make a double crochet, and then in the next stitch, which comes right here, we go directly in and make a slip stitch to close it, and this gives us this little rounded border. I'll show it again. Chain one after the slip stitch, yarn over, go into the next stitch, into the top, and make a double crochet. And after that we go directly down to our next stitch and make a slip stitch. Chain one, yarn over, make a double crochet into the next stitch, and then go back down and make a slip stitch. And this is how we continue all the way along all four sides. I will meet you back when I'm at my first corner, because in the corner we are going to make it a little bit different, but I will show you in a bit. So now I'm at the corner. I just made a double crochet, so right before you reach the corner should be a double crochet. Then of course in the next stitch we make a slip stitch, and then we chain one, and now we go into the middle chain element and make a double crochet, and in that same space we are going to make two more double crochets. So we get like this sort of a bigger rounding, and then we go into the next stitch, the last chain element, and again we slip stitch again. So we have this more bigger roundish side for the corner, and from there we continue like we had it before. Chain one, and in the first stitch on the second side we place the next double crochet in, and after that slip stitch, and this we do all the way right until the end, and I will see you there. So I'm at the end with the border, and here I just had my double crochet. So in the next stitch I will make the slip stitch, and now we can make the final corner, and again we chain one, and then we make 3 double crochets into that last corner stitch, and to close it we are just going into the slip stitch that started it all and slip stitch through it and yarn over, pull through, and now we can cut the yarn and pull the yarn through. This is what was left from my third yarn skein, so it works pretty well with the 3. And now I'm going to sew the yarn end in, by going to the back, and then I will just go through the stitches here on the side, just a few of them, and then I turn and go back like that. And then I can cut it. And there's also my very first yarn end from the beginning, from the magic circle. And usually it should stay closed where it is, but I will just, to make sure, pull the yarn through that center. It's already very tight, so I'm pretty sure that this will be enough. And then I cut it. And the doily is basically done. Now it needs a good stretch, and the best way to do that is by making it wet and then blocking everything. And I highly recommend you to do so as well, because that will bring out the pattern even more, and that would also help to make all the elements symmetrical, all our lines and stuff. So it's definitely a recommendation. Otherwise you would probably have to flat iron it, and then it would be a bit wonky like it is now. So I won't show you how to block it. I have a video about how to block crochet pieces, and if blocking is something new for you, then check it out. If you're familiar with blocking and you have blocked things before, then you're absolutely fine without me. Do it like you always do it, and once I'm done with the blocking, I can already put it on the table. Can't wait. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed to see how to make such a beautiful filet crochet granny square doily for Christmas in the festive version. I will most probably just let them on the table a little bit longer because I think they're so pretty, or I make them in green or in brown and just keep it on my table until I have an idea for the next occasion. And until then, I hope to see you back again next time, only at the Totally Frisk Crochet channel. And have fun this season. Happy crocheting, and I see you. Bye.